Welcome back to Storytime Dark. We promise to bring you the scariest, spookiest, most thrilling stories from around the world. This episode is dedicated to night shift workers and their scariest experiences on the job. If you like this content and want to see more, please consider dropping a like or subscribing. It would really help the channel out. I am Betty, your robotic narrator. Used to work at an ice cream factory from 6 p.m.-6 am. Second day on the job, this tenured line leader was trying to unclog compacted cookie dough from the machine. Used her finger. It chopped off the end when it unclogged and started again because no one stopped it. I'm still fresh and new as in helping her out and learning. She jumps off the ladder and yells, "It cut my damn finger off." I froze in fear. She pushed me aside, grabbed all the paper towels and booked it to the ER. We found her fingertip in the ice cream catch a few minutes later and had to trash the entire batch and start fresh. Just before my days off, and I had to come back in the next day short-handed. Obligatory edit. Yes, we found the bit of her finger, cleaned it and put it on ice. Took it to the ER. She got it reattached. And I get it, short-handed. I work in a sleep lab, and I smoke. Before participants come into the lab, I have to set up things, as the labs are used for other activities during the day. It's at a university. So I'm there, making beds, setting up the polysomnograph and whatnot alone. I take a break for a cigarette. It's about 10 p.m., normally fully dark. But it isn't. There's a bit of a weird orange glow in the sky. Strange smell on the air. No idea what it is, but work is work. I shrug and go inside. While I'm inside, I hear some weird noise from the outside world. Now, these are sleep labs. They are meant to be soundproofed. But some doors are open, and soundproofing isn't perfect. So I sent some messages to my friends who know university vibes a bit better than I do. I'm not the 18-22 of that sorta scene. Don't hear anything for a while. Then get a message. There have been protests. They are letting off explosives at the university. The police are there but can't engage. I call participants, tell them not to come in. I find out apparently roads are blocked to and from the university. So, being a reasonable person, I turn off the lights and close all the doors, get in one of the beds and go to sleep. Roads out of the university were still lined with protesters when I left in the morning, but after about half an hour of convincing them that I was nice and they should let me leave, out all in one piece. Found out some of the explosives were about 200 meters from my lab. Good times. I worked overnight at a pasta plant during my teens. One night my dad showed up out of nowhere. He worked there. He was the quality control manager and told me we were going home. No explanation or anything at the time. He just said they were shutting down production immediately and there wasn't going to be work for probably a few more days. Turns out some guy killed one of his kids in the plant, by accident. It took a long time for the rumors to get back to me, but apparently one of the forklift guys was joyriding around the place, went under one of the overhangs, but had his kid in the thing with him, and that kid was standing up with his head out the top. Apparently he either was decapitated or his neck was broken, but either way he was killed. It was creepy how it happened in the place, and it couldn't have been far from me, but I had no idea. Also really terrible and horrific just thinking about how it could have happened. As a parent now it makes me sick. I did my basic military training at Fort Leonard Wood in Missouri. Our barracks were old, dating to around the 1950s or 1960s. Every night, a number of recruits were assigned fire guard duty, which was essentially trying to stay awake for an hour and mopping the floor or buffing it until the next soldier came on duty. The fire guard post for my platoon was at one end of a long hallway, directly under a set of speakers suspended from the ceiling. Whenever the drill sergeants made an announcement, you'd hear them through the speakers. This is how they communicated reveille, wake up, and other instructions where they had to talk to the whole building at once. Usually these were communicated in blistering shouts, rendered staticky and nearly unintelligible as they blared through the ancient sound system. One night, about halfway through basic, so sleep deprivation really hitting hard by this point, I was sitting in a chair under the speakers, trying to stay awake. The speakers crackled to life, and I immediately perked up. Unusual for an announcement this time of night, but it wasn't outside the realm of possibility. The voice was soft, barely above a whisper. A woman's voice. Private. Get everyone outside. Right now. The comm line remained open, a low hum hissing through. The voice again. Right now. Private. Everyone outside. Weird. Not that it was a woman's voice. It was a co-ed basic training and we had a couple female drills. But for it to come across so softly was very strange. When the brown rounds used the intercom, it was at full, shouting voice. I headed down the length of the hall to where 2nd Platoon had a fire guard on duty similarly situated. Asked him if he heard anything, got a negative response. I made a decision, I'd chalk it up to my imagination and tiredness and not risk having the entire barracks furious at me for disturbing their sleep in error. If it was one of the drill sergeants messing with me, and I got in trouble for not waking everyone up, at least I'd be the only one getting smoked. Nothing happened the rest of the night, and I put it out of my mind until the very end of basic, when we had our 3-day field training exercise. We made it through, and the drills started treating us like real humans, almost, again. As we completed the last day of the exercise, which was a near live fire night march to attack scenario, we all gathered around the fire. The drills got to talking, then got to telling stories, then got to telling ghost stories about the base. My drill, Parada, a male, told the story of the first female drill sergeant on Fort Leonard Wood. Can't remember when it was, 70s, 80s, but it was decades ago. Apparently she faced a lot of pressure and harassment, as you can imagine. It was unrelenting and harsh, and apparently she couldn't take it. She'd hung herself from some exposed water pipes, using her belt. A few years later, they'd plastered over the exposed pipes, so they could mount speakers there. I used to work as a security guard at a shipping depot where semi-trucks came in and out all times of the day. Due to bad management and favoritism, I got moved to the night shift, that is, 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. The depot is out in the middle of nowhere with a large woods near it where deer and other animals were often spotted. One night I was doing my patrol around the building. It takes about 1 hour and 20 minutes with proper door checking on foot. Normally we take the squad car to do our patrols, but I refuse as it's disgusting as heck thanks to the fat slobs who work there always eating in it and whatever else they did to make it smell like crap. Well, about 40 minutes into my patrol on foot, it was around 1 a.m. at night, and for some reason the lights on the part of the depot I was patrolling were not working. I'm walking by semi-truck trailers that are backed into the building doors for loading in the morning when I hear some weird noises. I assume it's just a trucker who has wandered from the parking area to do some exploring or to try and steal some stuff. I shine with my phone light to see who is out there, only to see a large black bear eating what I think is a rabbit or something. The bear immediately stops what it's doing and starts walking toward me. At this point I don't know what to do. I am an unarmed guard and it is nothing but open ground and a completely locked building that I have no keys to. So I frantically start to run. I bolt to the closest door on the building, which is up a small set of metal stairs which is at the same level the truck unloading bays are at. I climb up on the arm railing to gain some height and try to reach for the top of a semi-trailer to get on top, but it is too far by about 2 feet. Meanwhile the bear has started to make noises and is running toward me. I frantically jump and attempt to get on top of the trailer and grab one of the open trailer doors. The bear at this point is where I was 10 seconds ago and reaching its paws out at me. I managed to pull myself up on top of the trailer out of reach of the bear. I searched my pockets for my phone to call for help only to realize it was on the ground under the stairs. I jumped from light still shining. The bear attempted to climb the trailer in multiple spots as I sat in the darkness fearing for my life. There was no point of screaming for help as the closest human being was well over 20 minutes of walking to get to me. I was stuck up there for at least 1 hour before the bear decided I was not worth its time and head back into the woods. Too afraid to come down and head back to the guard shack in case the bear was still around, I waited on top of the trailer until the other guard came down in the squad car 2 hours later trying to figure out where I went. I shortly quit that job 2 months later due to many other problems, but that encounter really pushed me to quit.
I do hope you enjoyed these 5 stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe to never miss an episode. We hope to upload almost daily. Goodbye from Emily.